Plain Jane on my wrist, for real. LV on my chick, for real. Waco taking risks, for real. Went through hell to get to this, for real. I'm not pressed with making lists, for real. I stay low and stack my chips, for real. You keep looking for a flip, for real. That's not wealth, that's rich, for real. 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 Really real. Really real. Really real. Really real. For real. For real. For real. For real. No liens on the whip, for real. I get bored, I take a trip, for real. Take a loss, I never trip, for real. Been in shock, I'm not a lick, for real. Don't trust the soul, it's on my hip, for real. Make a move and you get hit, for real. No pictures by the crib, for real. Can't let them know just where I live, for real. 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 Really real. Really real. Really real. Really real. For real. For real. For real. For real. Plain Jane on my wrist, for real. LV on my chick, for real. Waco taking risks, for real. Went through hell to get to this, for real. Time to run it all. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it all. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip this. Wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it all. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Niger, he'll come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it all. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip this, wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it all.
Good morning all. Yes sir. Hope everyone is well, hope everyone is good. Let me see, everything's working, everything looks good here. And yeah, let's get it. Today's Wednesday here, second day of the month here. And let's see what we have in store for today. So we start off with the calendar here. Today is going to be Wednesday. So Wednesday we have ADP, which is kind of that pre-NFP news. So what's going to be interesting is to see Since this is doesn't happen, only happens once per year actually, I think, where we have ADP, no day break. Right, the day after is going to be NFP. Why? Because Friday is 4th of July. So this is actually going to be something interesting here to see how we go back to back. Now they're expecting employment change to actually become a lot higher here. They're expecting employment from 37 to 105, and then we're seeing as well a decrease on here as well. So it's very interesting to see two different factors here where we see, you know, the number of people employed during the previous month, they're expecting that to go up. But even if you look at NFP, they're expecting unemployment rate to go up, and they're expecting this. So it's two different factors, which kind of doesn't make sense in my mind as to why we would see something like that. They're actually expecting employment to go down here. So overall, I would like to see how these two figures come out. Based on NFP, I expect this to come back lower than expected. And if it does come back lower than expected, then that's actually inherently positive for gold here. And we could see a little bit of a spike on gold. But speaking about gold, let's go ahead and look at what's going on gold. Start off with the daily time frame. Previous daily had a big day yesterday, closing bullish here above this little resistance here, which is good in terms of continuation possibilities. We are leaving a bit of a rejection wick here. If we look at 4-hour time frame here, we'll get some more information. On 4-hour time frame, we are closing bullish. We created this 4-hour support here for S. So we are bullish bias today. Anything breaking this high would give us more probabilities to go retest this 4-hour support. If we can grab liquidity, we did grab liquidity on this candle. If we can grab it again and start to flip, does give us some more opportunities for buys here. We have this 1-hour resistance sitting here. I do believe the 15-minute is higher. Let's put that 1-hour R. 15 minutes should be a little bit higher. See the 30 there, and then the 15 is up there. So I'm just going to mark the 15 as a whole. I know the 30 is a little bit lower, but I want to mark the 15 as a whole here. I don't really even need the 1 hour, but in case we trade back to it, I would like to know where it is. Buys above here are pretty straightforward. If there is an opportunity to buy back towards the 1 hour, I would be interested as well. We seem to be reacting off this point here for now. Now sells do look nice in here, but we are counter bias here. I'd just like to double check that on brokers, see how the 4-hour looks on brokers. Sometimes a little bit different. Yeah, it is bullish. We don't have double bullish, but we do have one bullish candle. So respecting bias here, I have to look for the opportunity towards the upside. Counter trend sells. I'm not going to be a counter trend seller yet. It doesn't make sense for me, especially after a heavy day yesterday. But counter trend sells would be basically if this closed bullish and the next one closed bearish below, probably here, that would be a nice counter trend sell. I would be more looking for the buys. Now, my question is, how am I going to take buys earlier? Is kind of the way I'm looking at it. It's pretty tough actually to try get in earlier because of this mess here. We don't know how we're going to react off that. This could retest the range and continue down. So more information in the range to be able to trade the range. Otherwise looking for above there, but we are pretty far, 50 pips away from that. So I would like to try get in early if we could. We just don't want to end up ranging and chopping around here. That would be extremely boring. Now looking at DAX here on the other hand, starting on the daily time frame here, we do have a bearish daily candle close after yesterday, which is pretty interesting. Because if we look here at basically US 30, we're pushing on highs. We look at obviously SPX pushing on highs. We look at NASDAQ, did retrace a bit yesterday as well, but we were pushing on highs as well. But it is interesting that NASDAQ only retraced yesterday, but that's due to Tesla actually. Tesla is what caused NASDAQ to pull back yesterday because of Trump's speeches. Yesterday we had heavy speeches during NY, and Trump wants to deport Elon Musk, which is pretty funny. You can't really, you know, it's theatrical to be honest. So Tesla took a bit of a beating there. Actually, we could see that on Tesla, 5% down, which is pretty heavy. Move down 5% down on a daily. Look at that daily candle opening all the way down there. So yeah, and if we're looking back at DAX here, we do have a little bit of a downside on DAX. We are trying to bounce today, so it will be a mixed session bias. Previous 4 hour is closing bullish above this little resistance we had here, which is our previous 4 hour support. We have a next 4 hour resistance here. This is also previous 4 hour support, which can act as resistance now for S. And we can look at this here. This is going to be 4 hour support. So mixed bias today. Sells can make a sense as well, but we are bouncing. There's more. We are bouncing from a previous daily. We are strong bullish on the 4 hour. 1 hour has bullish structure. 30-minute has bullish structure. 15-minute as well. So honestly, if I'm gonna sell today, I need to see either two things. I need to see a change of structure, which we technically have not had yet on the 15. It would look something like that. That's a change of structure. You can sell below here, get to here, see what happens here, you know. Or sell below, or sell from here to see what happens at here as well. Those are two options there. Or I can get a nice little something like this pop, and then get a buy above there, which would be pretty nice, to be honest. If we respect this previous zone. I don't think I really need it. Can be just something like that. Let's just see 1 hour. Those are previous 1 hour. I don't really think if it will be relevant. We will close below pretty soon. So let's see how that forms. But I'm looking for structure for buys. Sells, as I said, I'm not convinced yet. Look at all these supports down here. I don't mind it coming down here to retest. That's pretty normal. But we could see a little bit of a bounce from here. So we're just going to see how that ends up forming. This is our previous 15 now. And then we take it from there. So supports, and then we see how to enter based on supports. So that's the analysis for today. We'll have a quick look at GJ as well. Pretty rangy, to be honest, but there could be some buys above this 15. So if we look at previous daily, closing bearish here below support, so not the best sign for upside continuation. 4 hour time frame is closing bullish, but a lot of BS. It's failing to close above this resistance. So I think today's pretty simple on GJ. You're only looking for buys above the highs here. Now for sells, let's have a look at sell options. I think below here would make sense, but we do have a long way to go. And if it stays in this range like yesterday London, you just leave it. So very straightforward on GJ. Good close above here. Give yourself a shot to the 1 hour. If not, leave this bullshit. You could try to trade from here to here, but it's very small. Let's see that on 1 hour. Yeah, not really the best. Look at 30 as well. So I think the best shot for sells below here and see what happens at previous range. If it starts to range in here, leave it. And that's about it, to be honest. So pretty straightforward here. Above the range and below the range, to be honest, is how the way I would play GJ today. Buys above and sells below. So that would be pretty simple. Can even write that for people. I think the buys look cleaner to the sells because we are closer towards the buys, but we'll see how that kind of forms and then take it from there. And then this is also a buy zone above here. And that's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the analysis. If you did, do the YouTube business. You know the drill. Leave a like on the stream. Show me you guys are active. Show me you guys are ready for today's stream. And get the likes up to 150. I would appreciate that. YouTube added a cool new feature. And check this out. So now what we have is we have something called top fans is what they call it. But it's essentially people who are active in chat now get a little star next to them, so I can see who's first, who's second place. So whoever's active in chat asking good questions, they get ranked here and they get XP points, 50 XP, 50 XP. So you can see first, second and third. First place is Shantanu. He is in first place right now. As for the guy who is asking questions and being active, so we have this every day. This is pretty cool, and we can use this to basically choose giveaway winners. So that's my plan. I am now gonna plan to do like maybe we do something cool, like every 2 weeks we do whoever's been on #1 by end of stream, we do a giveaway to exclusive group or something. So that's like 2 exclusive groups per month, or maybe once a month. We will see how that goes, right? So I will not select people obviously who are just putting W's and stuff like that. That doesn't count. Who are just BS chatting, but I think it's a pretty nice way to see who's being active, who's asking questions. If you spam, it doesn't actually count it. So you can see like he's putting W's in chat first place, but his XP is not going up. So I think there's some sort of filtration, and then you get a little badge next to you. So I wonder if you're logged in, do you guys get to see the badge like me, or is it only me who gets to see the badge? That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested to know, do you guys see the badge or not? We also see it? Okay, cool, cool. We can see through chat, so yeah, you guys know who's first, you know who's place. Okay, cool, cool. So yeah, that's how we will select first, second, third. Was paper looking at DAX? My broker 5-minute bullish close with the 1-minute setup. Type 5 trade was quick TP. When was this? Just now? Hi, did you mention S2 buy for DAX is valid? Yeah, but on 15 we need something like a good close on 15, because we don't know how it's gonna act from here. It hasn't retested anything. This could just be a pullback to continue down sells. We've actually been in a 5-minute downtrend. So this could just retest here, and then you see this come down. Very risky. Or this could have just come up, broke the lows, and continue down. Because we're not retesting. Like if you draw a line, where have we retested? Not really too much here. The 30-minute is lower. We only retested this, but we actually closed below it. On top of that, we have the 1 hour lower here. So for us to prove that price, and this is also the beginning of the 1 hour open. This could be a big top wick for the 1 hour to flip and come down here. You don't know yet. So until we have a proper support formed or a change of structure, that's going to tell us, okay, now we can see potential buys, right? So I think buys above my little notch here would be good. We can see it reacting off the top of the notch now, see? So maybe something buys above there would be good, with a 5-minute change of structure would also be above that 5-minute there as well. Hey Harry, just an option, but if you start putting horizontal rays instead of horizontal lines, it will be easier for people to spot where the level originates from. Yeah, it's just a personal thing, man. I really like to see my charts like this, and I prefer to keep it straight so I can see in the past, because it's important for me to see in the past how relevant this was as well, because I can see some reaction here. So I really like to view my charts like that. If I just put a ray, then I can't see how it's reacted in the past, you know, because that sometimes influences my decision as well. Hi, was there any wins in NY yesterday? Some people took trades during news, which I didn't agree with. Because there was too much speeches and stuff like that. I did think they did play out. There was a US 30, nice buy on US 30, but it was during news. So for me, I don't really agree with that. Nor do I recommend it, nor is it something I do. But yeah, there was clean. US 30 was clean yesterday. From your video on marking, you said you don't mark support and resistance with a candle that is yet to close, but did it with the DAX line on previous 4-hour support. No, previous 4-hour support means previous. So this is the previous one, you see? Previous 4-hour support. It's not current. Current would be up here. This is previous. That's what P4S means. So this previously closed. We only, actually now we crossed through it twice. It's not that relevant anymore. So I actually can remove that line. I think this one was from yesterday. The next relevant one will be actually up here. But now this is being crossed through once, crossed through twice. Actually doesn't become relevant anymore. And all it ends up being is just this 15-minute resistance here. So yeah, that can be removed now. We've been crossed through twice. What's your plan for the week with NFP tomorrow? Do you expect some volume or rather not? Yeah, I expect volume. NFP tomorrow will be interesting. Tomorrow will be interesting how it acts. And I definitely think we could see a lack of volume on Friday because it's a bank holiday. USD bank holidays have not been the best for me. So I'm going to be careful on Friday. But leading up to NFP, I think we can see some good volume. But the way I treat bank holidays in London session, if you look at last bank holiday, I actually won a trade. I won a DAX trade last one. And when I won that trade, it's because there was heavy volume on that day clearly. So if I don't clearly see heavy volume, then I'm not interested. Why is NFP on Thursday? Is it because bank holiday? Yes, guys. Bank holiday is Friday. Yes. Would closing above 238 be setup 4? Basically setup 2, but you're not closing back in a range, right? So it won't really be setup 4. Why Friday bank holiday? It is Independence Day, 4th of July. For Americans. Big celebration they do there. How do we know volume? You will see charts move. Like, look, there's good volume today. Look at how charts have been moving. Or look at GJ. Do you think there's good volume in GJ? Not really, man. This is, look, if I look at a chart like this with all this BS next to each other, all of these lines, right? All of this choppiness, I don't like it. That's showing me it's not good volume. If you look at gold, not the best. We're stuck in a range, but we can expect volume if we break out the range. But if you look something like DAX today, DAX looks good because we've pushed hard. We're pulling back now. So there is volume. Can you analyze USD JPY? Don't be lazy. Send your analysis. Where's your analysis? So this is one big mistake. Where's your USD JPY plan to ask me to analyze that? Show me your plan and I'll give you the answer. That's the way you're going to learn, man. That's exactly what this section is for. That's why you're here in the group. You have to make use of that. You have to send in your plan. If there's no questions to be asked on this plan, then you just leave it in there. These guys are doing an amazing job by adding these plans here and not even asking me questions because it must mean that it's good. If there's something they're confused about, they say, hey, Harry, I shared my plan. Can you please have a look at what's wrong with it? Or do you agree with my buy option? Because maybe I do. Remember yesterday end of stream someone asked you if the trade is valid, but I kind of forgot the explanation. Is it fine if you re-explain? This trade was in NY. Yeah, I explained that 2 times, man. So you need to be able to learn also how to answer your own questions here so that you can learn the process of thinking and not be spoon-fed. So why do you think this is not valid? That would be my question to you. So write down some bullet points of why is that not valid. And then we can work backwards from that. And I can see if you're even starting on the right place. It's going to be a good one. I think it's a valid breakout liquidity grab. It's a rubbish answer, man. What's that? Breakout of what? Liquidity grab of what? Close of what? I need details, man. That's like me saying, I think this car is good. It looks good and it has 700 horsepower. You don't know its mileage. You don't know how it was driven before. You don't know if it was serviced on time. You know, trading works the same. There's a lot more details. What DAX are you using on TradingView? My 4 hours different? Yeah, change to Forex.com. Forex.com is good. Hey man, if you could summarize your last 6 months in a few words, what would it be? Growth. That's very simple. One word. I only need one word. Growth. Every 6 months, growth. No chance. If I'm not growing, then what's the point? Growth. Just pure growth. And then if you need details on different parts of your, hey, summarize this in the last 6 months. Summarize that in the last 6 months. Then there's different things. Liquidity grab of previous. How do you prove it's a liquidity grab? How is that a breakout? We're not breaking out of a range. Right? Really slow down, think what's happening. This is not a breakout. What are we breaking out of? This is a breakout, right? So you need to identify what is a breakout. You've been here long enough, you need to know these basics. This is maybe where your leaks are, right? Breakout means you break out of a range. Is this a breakout or a reversal? We already broke out. Now we're reversing. See the difference? Hey, I'm back. What's up? Yo, bro. Hope you're well. Good to see you. To be profitable, what should our win-loss ratio be on average? It depends, man. I mean, people will say you can have a low win rate and a high risk to reward, but it's very hard to hit a high risk to reward. It's very hard to hit a high risk to reward all the time, right? So it actually depends. But if you do have a low win rate, then you need to be winning more than you lose. That's for sure. But that doesn't mean you have to have a high risk to reward. You could be managing your trades early, right? There's ways to manipulate that. Just a single resistance breakout isn't really a breakout. It is. Like, this is a breakout of this range to get to here, but there was no resistance, Bentley. You need to concentrate, man. Really focus. Where's your resistance? It wasn't structure form. It's one candle pullback on a 5 minute. That's one candle. Is that a breakout? Are we breaking out of a range into a new range? No, we're pulling back. It's a one candle pullback, man. Could have been a setup 3. Would you call a setup 3 a breakout or a continuation trade? It's not continuation. We were going down. This is a reversal trade. So first identify that. Reversal trade. See how gold is doing here. Gold is looking like breaking down towards the downside at the moment here. I think a 15-minute close. So we have this big mess here. I think something above this would be good. What is that? Ah, perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. There's a key level there as well. Look at that. So above that key level would be good. Setup 6, are you valid? Remember what I told you. Stick away from setup 6 right now. You're too early. You need to focus on setup 1, 2, 3. Setup 6 will be too complex. I want to see wins on setup 1, 2, 3. I don't want to see you trying that. And it's a wrong... Why didn't you just take this is my question. That's why didn't you take this setup? So this is why I don't like. Why didn't you enter here? Stop loss here. Take your 1-to-1. Be done for the day. That's my question. Because that's a close below. Setup 1. You know. No 50. Well, you don't have 50-minute confirmation here. You're selling a bullish 50-minute confirmation. So why is it okay to use 5-minute now? See, you have to define the rules. This is why I prefer you just stick to 15-minute setup. You know, otherwise you're just gonna confuse yourself and not know what's right and not know what's wrong. Like, there's no harm in doing less but earning more, right? Look how bullish this 15 is, right? So I prefer you play it a little bit safer and just wait for your original plan, which is sell below here. But if you want to enter on a 5, use a 5 close below here. So 5-minute close below here, you can trust the 1-hour closing bearish, the 30 closing bearish, plus the 5-minute would give you confirmation now it's closing below. That's how you can use 5-minute for entry. That'll be the best way. Hi, near the key level is 1-hour resistance. Yeah, there is one right there. So you should probably go above that 1 hour. You are right. But maybe we do this sell-off today here, right? It's counter bias, which is unfortunate. I wish we had mixed bias today, then we could look for these sells. Can we enter EU with 5-minute time frame and 15 closes deep? Yeah, if there's a setup, yes. But that's my 5-minute strategy, right? So you'd have to understand my 5-minute strategy. See, DAX rejected that zone, right? That's what I was talking about, how that 5-minute can be just a lower high, right? Exactly, it ended up exactly being that. So now imagine it gets above here. How much more confirmation do you have? You see the difference? It's a completely different trade, completely. You haven't answered my question, Bentley, about the trade you sent. You need to solve that. Remember, we have the giveaway, 700 viewers. So make sure to leave a like on the stream and stuff. I know it's counter bias, but gold gave 1-to-1. Yes, you can take it if you want to trade counter bias. You just know my rules. I'm not going to take something that has made me lose, but that's why I discussed the option of counter bias. I discussed the option if those want to take it. Remember, I'm not here to take an option just for everyone else. I'm here to trade for myself. So please don't be confined by me. Take stuff if you believe it's correct. There's a reason why I don't take everything in the market. It's what's kept me profitable. But I'm here happy to discuss ideas. So you guys can take what you want. And the problem is, if you ask me feedback, I will say it's counter bias, right? So it's hard to give feedback on stuff that, you know, we have long-term data that is a little bit count against us. But this could be a pullback to end up forming the buys here. We'll see, we'll see. And technically it didn't close below this previous level that we were rejecting. That might have put me off as well. Especially how the 5 was forming there. If it wasn't against a bias, really nice with such a range. Even without bias, this would have put you, with bias, this would have put you off here. The way we rejected that, you would start to question that. I don't think we're at a 1-to-1 yet. You'd go break of lowest low, stop loss 26, it give you 17. Not yet. But I do think, like, you know, there's no real too much issues to give a 1-to-1. With all those wicks to the side, I wouldn't want to go. Yeah, right, because this is what I was talking about. Like a close below that would have been better, right? Did you take the US 30 buys post? It seemed pretty good. There was news that time. You guys like to trade during news, but there was jolts. And they wouldn't stop yapping, these guys. They wouldn't stop yapping. So I just decided to not trade it until they stop yapping. I'm not getting cooked first trade of the month. Not again, yeah, exactly. Especially imagine you take it and then you lose because they said something and then it dumps or something. And you're like, oh my God. And you can avoid that. I mean, when you're risking little, it doesn't matter, right? It's just a bit of practice. The setup was valid though. As a setup, 100%. I like the setup. I would not argue that the setup is bad. There's definitely a nice setup there. Just like 80 pip SL? No, we're talking about the second option. with the 5 minute, this one. That one here. Oh yeah, it was still 80. Yeah, pretty steep. Previous daily support, you have to go break even. Luckily it didn't come back. That's pretty nice how it protects you from there. And then this closed above and then it's off to the races. Yeah, very nice. But we had a lot of volume. Average 5 minute candles were 50 pips here each. So you at least can expect a move, right? Why candles form on 4 hours different Tradingview and MetaTrader 5? Because you're using a different broker. You need to be using like on Oanda or something like that. Will be better. Now we are mixed bias on DAX here, so I wonder if the sells are going to make sense down to this previous 1 hour. So let's mark this previous 1 hour. Remember I talked about this being the potential top wick of the 1 hour candle. So I would like to see preferably a 15 minute, but maybe we can get away with a 5 minute close below here. We have nice 5 minute structure. 5 minute closing below with a top wick. 18 points for 20 points here might work. We have that in about 2 minutes for a potential. We have a bit of a scary zone here as well. So we have to see what ends up happening with that zone, but that's not where our entry is. 4 hour no top wick. I do have one on the 4 hour. US 30 will be your permanent pair. I trade US 30 in New York, not in London. So let's see if it does close below here. It's bouncing right now. If it doesn't close below, it's not valid for sells for me. Can't take a sell just yet. It will show it's respecting support. What is this ranking system now? Just people who are active in chat get a ranking system, and once a month whoever's been ranked #1 will get a gift here. And I think the gift will just round it to Tradesharpe exclusive membership. It's just something that YouTube have built. Five seconds, would it close below? I doubt it, but anything's possible. Yeah, so it hasn't closed below, not valid. Wow, open gap down probably on broker. Let's have a look. Yeah, gap down on broker, looked like it. We're seeing a lot of that recently on DAX, to be honest. How we just gap down. It's a bit of a shame because I would have liked it to just chill actually, and then we get a second candle closing below, because the second 5 minute candle close below would actually be what? The 15 close, check. So we would actually got a nice 15 close below, but it's not over. A lot of the times this could come back. This can come back and make a top wick. So see how gold is doing. Gold is trying a little bit of a retracement. Scary to have these gap downs and gap ups. They could slip a lot. They will slip a lot. That's why I'm saying it's why we need like these top wicks minimum. Because the top wicks at least, but even with the top wicks, like yesterday, you saw that how it flipped so fast. So you just need to be ready. When you get triggered, if you are slipped 5 points and you're in profit, either move to break even, or if you get slipped 5 points or something like that, whatever, and you are at entry, just immediately close it and just accept, okay, fine. Because you can't take the risk of it coming back and now you're at a extra 4.3 point loss. It's just going to be way worse. It's going to be way worse to be at an extra loss than for you just to get out and leave the trade. How does this detect spamming? Because if you ask the same thing twice, it doesn't count that as XP. Think you missed the answer I sent a few minutes ago. Here's my answer. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it's a little bit wrong process. Not fully wrong, but a little bit wrong. So let me explain this and show you how simple this is and how you need to be thinking in this. So first thing here is this is not a change of structure. We haven't closed above strong. This is a very weak candle. This is your first change of structure here. And actually, technically, a real change of structure would be all the way up here, right? Because that was our last structural point. Then we created a lower high. We never broke the low. So this is like your minimum change of structure. Too early to go because we're moving down. We're moving down. This could end up doing this, right? You're coming from the 4-hour support. So what I would like you to say is that retest of 4-hour support. So that's why it can be valid, because you're coming from the 4-hour support. Price then change structure from here. Too early though, because you know you want more confirmation. It then created a resistance. Price retested the last one, proving that it doesn't want to go down, closed above, and then you take that as basically a close above this resistance, break of high to fill the wick, see what happens, and that's the process. And this is not a breakout, this is a reversal trade, right? This is your reversal trade. Make sense? So take some notes. German 40, what we want? Yep, that's what I'm looking at. You take your trades below the wick as part of the strategy. Depends on how long it is. Sometimes I do wick fill. Should clip that for a YouTube video. Yeah, you think that's good? Yeah, maybe we could look at that. Come on, DAX, chill a bit. We're very close to this 5 now. 15-minute candle has pretty big stops here. So I wonder if we can wait for one more pullback. Yeah, your spreads look pretty high. Mine on my broker are... Yep, regular 0.5. I'm regular. So I wonder, okay, so we have 5-minute close here. 5-minute is made its top wick here. Entering break of low here. Not the best, right? With all this 5-minute noise to the left. Based on 15, it makes sense. But we would want a 15-minute stops. A little bit deep to my liking. Only 6-7 point break even here. Very tight break even. And of course we have an earlier break even because of the 5. We have an early break even because of the 5s here. This 5s, you know how 5s have been giving us a lot of issues on DAX recently, right? And this is what I'm trying to think, like, could I hold drawdown in this? Is the question. Because we might, like, if we've just been struggling with risk to reward on DAX. We haven't been getting the continuation. Perfect setup would be to see the bullish candle here followed by a bearish candle close below. I would love that. Then my stop loss would be like 13 points. Yeah, wow. Then 10 points to the previous 1 hour. That makes a lot more sense. Can be aggressive break even on this. Yeah, that can make a lot more sense. But depends if we get it. I mean, it is valid on a 15. You just have to be aggressive with it. And you need 15 stops. I think you can get away with 24. Let's see what 24 point stops are. If they're the 5-minute highs, no, you need to go above here, yeah. Something like this, at least a gap. So like maybe 26. It's definitely tempting to go break of low, but I don't think it's the smartest idea based on what type of pullbacks we've been getting. I think it's a high chance for break even. I feel it's a high chance for break even. Oh, it's the 30 close as well. Wow, damn. That's pretty nice. Oh, can this just make like a fat top wick, please? Then that would be easy. Or a thunderstorm. That would be sick. You're taking it on 15? I mean, the only reason I'm not taking it on 15 is because of the lack of continuation we have and how much supports I'm selling into. If I consider this a target, which it essentially is, and I'm looking at the markets like this, and this is my target, look where I'm selling in my target. I'm selling towards the lower end of my target. So that's normally not the smartest place to sell, and can end up being, you know, quite... most likely a break-even position. Like, look, now it's rejecting this 5. I don't feel confident in it. So I'd actually be thinking to myself, could I manage on 1 minute, close aboves? And if it does close above on 1 minute, I will actually might have to manage there. And I don't want to be in that situation like this. This is what I don't like. So that's why I avoided it myself. But you know, we have room below the previous 1 hour. Like, this is not a bad range below here, guys. It's like 26 points, huh? 26 points is not bad. 15, it looks beautiful. 5 minute, it looks even better on 5. So honestly, I don't mind it doing this, coming here, rejecting, and then I take a sell here into this new range. So I think that's something I'm confident with. I would happily take that and then avoid this potential pullbacks that might be happening right now, right? Which is why in the first place I tried to avoid this situation. I think that's some good masterclass to show you this. You know, to show you how important these 5s are becoming, right? And we know this. Broke the low and came right back. Yeah, but we've seen this happen. Doesn't mean it's gonna fail, but it's just something I'd be uncomfortable with because I have seen DAX reverse after that's happened. And this is what I mean, like recently, we're not getting these massive drives. It's kind of like hit or miss. Every trade I've taken has not given a massive drive. It's come like 0.8, 0.9 from TP, you know? And these 5s become really relevant. These are becoming really relevant. I mean, look at the reaction of this one. Immediately 1 minute fake out back in the range, you know? Break of structure now in 1 minute. So I get to avoid that mess. A lot of BE nowadays on DAX. Yeah, we just need to adapt and close our trades a little bit early. The thing is, I'm not one of these traders who will run like a 40 pips stop loss and close at 10 pips, close at 15 pips to call it a win. I could have had 4 wins last month if I did that. But P&L wise, it would be better, but it wouldn't be profitable, you know? Honestly, with a big top wick, it's valid on 15. Technically, yeah, but you can still avoid all the noise because otherwise you're just going to end up in the same scenario to where it retests 15, you just get a little bit lower, right? You just get a little bit lower and then it rejects again. Because don't forget that buys could also become an option today. They risk 100, win 20, call it a win. Yeah, and technically it is a win. They have all the right to call it a win. But remember, I'm here to make money. And if I'm going to do that, if I hit a loss, I give back that money. So yes, it looks good on paper. My statistics look good. The amount of wins I take look good. But in terms of my actual P&L, it doesn't always add up. Because when I take a loss, I'm giving back 3-4 wins. Right? You know what wouldn't be bad is if we also see a candle like this. I know it's a big candle, but it's not going to be too bad if we see that. Take a sell. Obviously a different color, but it's not too bad of an idea. Stop loss in that sense would be how big? Like 24 for 26. It makes sense. If you close early, your win rate would jump to 90%. I wonder how much it would jump to. Probably I would say at least in 80s, for sure in 80s. But then P&L will be less. So what matters more for me? Flexing win rate or P&L? For me, P&L personally, because what does flexing win rate get me? Flexing win rate gets me maybe slightly more viewers. So I see it as capital preservation. A $20 win is better than a $100 loss. Re-enter again where the original stop was. Yeah, but what if you keep losing? What if you keep losing, right? So if you win $20 and then take a $100 loss because you followed your plan, why put stop loss there in the first place if you're going to close early? Shouldn't you then just adjust your risk to reward if you're going to close your trade early? What do you think about re-enter and just go break even again? I mean, re-enter where? Because you're still entering on this rejection zone now. Look at it rejecting again. So that would break that plan because look, it's just doing it yet again, you know? No, because you're trailing position. You're not trailing position because you're in drawdown. How are you going to trail a position in drawdown? Not every trade is going to go directly in profit. And what if you close at $20 but then it runs to the highs where you would have originally closed? Now you're wasting potential upside opportunity. So if you're going to close at $20 and risk 100, you have to also risk the downside opportunity. But when you start trying to adjust your stop loss, you're just changing the whole trade as a whole. Because the whole point we have stop loss is to put stop loss where our trade would be wrong. And you see a lot of the time when I hit stop loss, it dives towards stop loss. It's not like a smooth time. I don't have much time to manage. So it's really there as a protection. It's preserving my capital and it's there as protecting me because it's diving towards stop loss. So how are you going to manage that? Just say, okay, close. And then it dives and then you get that nice little rejection wick and you closed. How many times has that happened to you guys? How many times have you closed the trade out of emotion and it's the exact point where it reverses? It's the exact point where it reverses. It all depends on strategy. No, I promise you, long term, very hard to see consistent gains like that. Like no matter the strategy, if you are not managing your downside risk, you are going to, long term, you're going to get hit. And when you get hit, you're going to give back a month, 2 months profit. Like no matter the strategy, it's just how it works, you know. Pretty sick, can't trade anymore. See you guys soon. Get well soon, man. If you're flu sick, you mean. These traders want free course for risk management and psychology. I have it for free because of that reason. Literally on my website, right next to my exclusive group, there's the free one. Doesn't cost anything. This is the free one for risk management. It's literally a 4-video course. That's what I'm on about. My strategy is all about protecting downside risk. Yeah, but most people don't protect because when you start to protect downside risk, you adjust the whole trade. What's this? Close at break even, then it dumped below here. Yeah, I think that was a smart decision. Especially with this 5 closing bullish, could have ended up very, very, very bad. Very bad. Just because it won doesn't mean it's a good trade. You know, this is, you know, some people will tell you that's a great trade, but I know it looked like it won, but at the time, not really even a valid setup 6. Valid one would be a bit different than that. That's why I wanted you to concentrate. Now, the question is, could you have entered here to get to here and see what happens? That's more of an aggressive one. This is nice. Because this, you could be, okay, stops here 6 points. You have like, okay, that's only 0.4. It's not enough. How about 30 is clean there? So you could base it on 30 and try to push through the 15. I just wish this gave you a little bit more, at least 1 pip. Because you don't have spreads on EU. If this gave 1 pip space here, at least you would have enough room to see if it reacts off here, go break even. Kind of like you can see how it didn't react. And then that's a nice trade. That's just a 15 close. So I can understand why you would hesitate on this one with the support sitting right here. But that's a better idea with the 15 close. Alright, so we've reached back to the daily resistance. Let's see how gold reacts from here. And then I'm keeping an eye on DAX here to see this bounce, right? You see how this price is respecting that 5 like no tomorrow. So we'll see. The buys could actually come into play. Why trade Forex instead of stocks? I don't like stocks in terms of trading different stocks. I prefer to stick to indices, right? Right now I'm not trading Forex, I'm trading indices. That's what's on my screen. This is called DAX. It's the German indice. Alright, what do you say about the trade that reverses 2 pips away from TP and hit? Should we close that or take BE? Depends. If you could have closed when it reversed before 2 pips. Like normally when it's 2 pips from TP, what's the point of closing? You know, what's the point of closing? So you're like, okay, I'm gonna just let it ride, because sometimes it pushes past TP. So the times you lose out on that, you might gain on the time it pushes past TP. It's just an unlucky situation. It happened to me. I mean, check how painful this one is. This one is literally easy win. This would have been, but I mean, come on, man. Like, I thought it could push 1 pip more, but no, came back and took me out break even. Did you invent the LTA concept, or did you take the concept from someone else? I learned online the concept of trading in clean candle ranges. I think that was originally popularized by Ted was his name. He taught Raja Banks and these type of people on price action. But I've seen before Ted, I found Ted, there was a crypto guy. His name was Eric Crown. He used to talk about that as well. So it seems to be an old topic. It's common sense if you think about it, like trade between support and resistance, right? Those are your clean ranges. Like, it makes sense. Why trade at a resistance? Why trade at a support? So if you think about it logically, it makes sense, right? But I definitely didn't invent that, that's for sure. That's been around way longer than I've traded. I mean, all the concepts that I use are 100% used by other people and very similar. All price action traders should basically trade a little bit similar. The only difference between me is probably my small details. That's what makes a trader, is like, how do I enter in different ways, how I call my setups, you know? Bro, Eric Crown is crazy. His charts are filled with different indicators. He uses them for explanation, but if you actually look at his real trading, like, I used to watch him maybe about 5-6 years ago. I used to watch him. So back then you could understand, like, he actually talks a lot about, you know, being called to assess a kid last minute. Oh, damn. Good luck, good luck. What's your own concept that you develop which is different from others? It would be my process of analysis, how I define daily bias, and it will also be how I'm able to navigate London session and timings. I'm very, very important on the timings and how I execute based on what, you know. Was this setup 5 we had the 50-minute close? Which one, man? That wouldn't be a setup 5. You're buying it straight into resistance. You know? It's hard, man. It's hard. You buy straight into this 15 resistance. What's the point? And then you have this candle that comes through and now you lose. You need guys to focus, mark your support. Look how important this little 5 was going to be. So why would we count this as important and see the reaction of this, but then ignore this? But above this is a different story, right? Because now our next resistance is up there. To trade to it and see how it reacts, yeah, then you're out break even again. You know, especially that it's there on a 15, man. It's not even worth to trade to it because it's super close. We're talking about 18 points for 6 points. Super close. And again, there's been no change of structure on 15. We've just been heading down all morning. All morning we've been doing this. So it just becomes risky. It's a could be an option, but it's a risky option, right? Because you have these things against you. You're not in the cleanest area. You are going against momentum. So essentially, when you think about it, you're kind of calling a bottom, right? So whenever we want to call a bottom, we want to make sure that there's a lot of confluences, a lot of confirmation that, hey, this is actually a low. Because we don't know that just yet, if this is actually going to be a low. But I would feel confident if it gets above here that it could be much better, because this would be above the 15 as well. Can you trade DAX on futures? I wonder if there's less slippage. I do think there is definitely a futures DAX. Would it be valid even without the resistance as the previous bear candle closed below? It would. If even without the resistance, it would. Because you would rely then on the 15 closing bullish as well. Clean candles on the 15. This wouldn't be here. No rejection wick would be here. It would just be full clean on 15. And you'd have the change of structure then from down here. So you'd count that as like a fake out. I'm a supply and demand trader with failed engulfing and engulfing confirmation. Then I took your strategy. It helped a lot because I started seeing safer options. Yeah, the question is, it's cool to catch big options. But how do you feel? What type of, what type of confidence do you have putting $1,000 on that trade? That's going to be the question you need to answer in the future. What do you have to put your funded account at risk on that trade, So you need to make sure it's something that actually is going to be beneficial to you. The dangerous trades are the best. They do look the best, but when I take them, they fail for me. So I don't take those dangerous trades. So I wonder if gold will reverse today, or are we going to take one more liquidity grab? Like I said, I do wish we kind of had mixed bias here so I don't have to go against my plan. But hey, we have a plan for a reason. Is this a setup 4? No, because we're not breaking back into a range, right? That would be setup 4. Breaking back into a range. If you're risking 20k in a trade, would you still trade the same or become more conservative? I'll trade the same. I'll trade the same because there's no... I mean, it would be a mistake if I start taking risky options. Like, if I start taking stupid options, it's a mistake. But as a trader, you're going to make mistakes. It's normal. You're still going to have rough patches. And that's why I'm telling it's very difficult. That's why I'm telling you it's very difficult to take positions with heavy risk. Because you're still going to make mistakes. You need to really be comfortable with that risk. Then you're going to be trading clearly. Because once you take a couple of losses with, let's say, 20k risk, if that's going to play a role on your psychology, you're done. You're done. You're going to go into this like downward spiral. You're going to take a big losing streak, which doesn't mean you're a failed trader. Doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It's actually part of the journey. but it's just, and then you start to question stuff like that. The strategy is not clear. This time it respected this resistance, this time it didn't. How do I define which one is which? It's a completely normal to start questioning that. And it's just basically because you're trying to solve. Your mind is just trying to solve for X. You're trying to solve what went wrong this time. And it's simply just a combination of a lot of things in this market. And it all stemmed from originally losing the trade. Right? Losing a couple of trades, right? Gold 5-minute close narrow key level was an option. Not sure what you're talking about, man. If you want to trade counter trend, be my guest. Like I said, the same thing, guys. I'm not changing what I said from the beginning. If you're a counter trend trader and you like to trade counter trend, then trade it. But if it loses, then that's the only thing I have to say about it. Setup can be valid, everything can be valid, but it's a probability. With the history of the first trade of the month losing a lot of the time, do you really want to be putting yourself on that? Like, really, you need to question before asking. What do you think of a rule to trade 1% every trade no matter what, never up or downside? Perfect rule, man. Great rule. I like that. I use standard risk like that on every trade. Harry, how do you find those kind of trades like yours, 30% on NASDAQ or something? Join me in the exclusive and listen to when I say that that's an opportunity. That's the best way. But it's tracking an asset for years. You know? It's tracking an asset for years. So once you understand an asset through years, you do fundamental analysis, technical analysis. I understand the fundamentals very well. These opportunities are always eaten up on price. Show me one opportunity on NASDAQ over the last 20 years when it's pulled back 20% that it's not recovered long term. You know, it's just simple stuff like that. And patience, man. I had to wait 4 years for that trade. People are complaining about me not taking a trade for 1 day. I haven't taken a trade for 1 day. 1 day I haven't taken a trade. That's it. I took a trade Monday. I took a trade Friday. And then people are not patient. That trade that paid me 30% in a couple of months on stock market, that's massive. That's 2 FTMO challenges passed without leverage. Without leverage. That trade took 4 years for that opportunity to come. So I ignored it. I didn't let it annoy me. You know? I'm not like, man, I just need to find a way in to open my investment portfolio. I used to tell the guys in the exclusive group all the time that, yeah, they asked me, why aren't you invested in the stock market? I used to tell them, like, I just haven't had the opportunity. I haven't had the opportunity. Which trade is 30%? I have a buy in NASDAQ from the lows. I have a buy in NASDAQ from here. I've been holding it the whole time. Can you explain why you bought at this specific time? Weren't you scared of it going deeper? It's a little bit more complex. I actually made a webinar at the time in the exclusive group about why I believe that we could see a bounce from here. It would take me like 15 minutes to explain that, and I want to concentrate a little bit on the charts. But if you ever join one of our webinars or something like that in the future, do ask me then, best time. Or at end of stream if we're doing nothing, something like that. Show the order? Sure, it's on my phone, it's in my investment account. I'll show you right now. Just loading it. Here you go. I'll take a screenshot, and on the screenshot, I will write something so you know I've just taken a screenshot right now. And what I'll write is let me write TS for Tradesharpe. TS. And I can show you in my camera roll. That is my latest picture. And then there you go. So let me see if you guys can see it. Can you see it? 30%? I'm just going to send it in the group. What platform do you use? We actually can do it from our local banking app. So I can take it directly from my savings account straight into invest there on Triple Q. That's the position for those who think I'm capping. I posted in general chat. There you go. 30%. All right. Happy. How do you plan to exit the trade? I monitor the charts, man. That's the skill of technical analysis. That's a great shirt, man. All right, open here. We have the open in 1 minute. I hope the open goes down. Do you have an SL or just mental SL? It's basically a mental SL. I'm looking at like really weekly closes, man. Weekly closes. You open position like this in crypto? Yes, I do have like this in crypto. My buys in crypto are from 10K, 11K, and 20K. Those are my buys in crypto. What webinar did you explain that? I'll have to check the content library. Man, this looks like a nice buy above here, to be honest, but we have the open here. So let's see if the open comes with a bottom wick first. Maybe it doesn't close above. Just keep an eye on this. Oh, that's such a boomer, bro. To push up like that on the open. I really hoped it would open down so that we can take these buys up. But what to do? That's the open. Can't really trade the open. I was looking for those buys. Just a timing thing. But the good thing is we have more buys above this 15 if it can chill. Harry, I gamble with $10 at high leverage just for fun every Friday for fun. You know, that might not be a bad way to get that out of your system. Right? So in the week you're serious, Friday night you just have some fun, you gamble with $10. You know, it's a good way to get it out your system. So I'm not going to say that that's bad, you know. The problem is if that changes into $100 more and you start to build a little addiction. But to just get it out your system, it's not really the worst. 50-minute bullish candle on gold is definitely interesting. What do we think? We think the 15-minute is enough? Just straight 15-minute? Then we have this 5 bullshit here. It's very close. How close is that? At least we need 10 pips. It's 7, man. I mean, the no top wick and the deep bottom wick is what's interesting me at the moment. Man, what a decision. That's the only reason I'm considering this. There's a top wick on my broker. Let's see on my broker. I don't have one on my broker. But what more interests me is the size of this bottom wick. Like after it, okay, but who cares if it has a top wick? Look at the size of the bottom wick it happens. Man, why does it need to break the high right now? Like, what's the reason if it doesn't want to try some upside? Do you read DMs on Discord? I do, yes. How big is stops though? This is another thing we need to consider here. Stops here are about 36. To get here is 28. Stops below 5-minute support are how much? 30. So 6 pips less. So we would need a full reversal though. Fifon. I like how the 1 hour also respected 1 hour support. That is nice. Keep an eye on it. I'm not high confidence, but break of previous lowest candle could be the sell option. If you're counter trend, you could try sell to here. Yes, it's just late in the move and you're selling bottom of range. But we will be getting below daily support. A lot of bullshit here. You would be trying to fill the wick. Personally, not a sell plan I like. But you are following momentum of the day. That's for sure. Because now if I see this come down here and close like this, and then the next candle closes bullish, like that's kind of starting to show me reversal signs. Ideally, a 30 closing bullish will be pretty simple. Appreciate everyone showing up to stream, guys. Looks like we might be getting something pretty soon here. So good showing of patience, all of you guys in here. Good conversations, good analysis and stuff like that. If you're enjoying the stream, be sure to leave a like. We need a like to get the setup. That's how the markets seem to work. So let's see what happens. On Daxia, I want to see, I mean, this is an unfortunate candle with the open kind of eating up our range. But if we can get a little pause, we can maybe look for a potential buy here. Especially if the 15 closes above in about 10 minutes only. Did you used to get into any sports? Yeah, man, I grew up on sports. Sports was a massive part of my life. And still is. I like to be super active. I'm very against being lazy and not having any hobbies. I despise that actually. It's a tough London Open. It is really a tough London. It's eating up all the range I wanted to trade. So that always makes it difficult, but you know, if we reject this 5-minute here and then close above it, that's your option. Look how important these small 5 minutes are becoming recently, guys. Holy shit, man. Look what it did here. Literally reversed the whole price. Same thing. Same tiny 5-minute. Same tiny 5-minute. Look what it did up here. Whole candle gone. Tiny 5-minute. That's how important they're becoming. And that's the details that's changed. Tiny. Don't underestimate the little guy. Exactly. So now, like, you know, this is why we need to take into consideration that even these small ones are having bigger relevance these days. GJ is getting closer and closer. Let's see what GJ is doing. GJ is just a piece of shit. It's doing nothing, man. Just set an alert here like this and ignore it. That's the best way. If she decides to wake up, she wakes up. If she's continued to sleep in here, let her sleep. The only thing that scares me is I'm scared it closes above and then nothing happens. It just continues with this bullshit. Gold's still trying to break down. What if this liquidity grabs then gets above this high? If that happens, I'm buying that. Eyes closed. Eyes closed. I want to know what type of mattress she has. I want to know what she's doing at night. She seems to be drinking and then just falling asleep all day. Wow. That small 5 retraced the whole move, bro. Whole move gone. I mean, this even the key is if we break one of these ranges right now, guys, either we break the upside or we break the downside, this could be enough liquidity to give us a good move. Because look at how this 15 looks with this big rejection wick. Yeah, could be, Manning, exactly. Could be the liquidity to move down. All we need is just to get out this range now. If we can just get out this range. Now, the only thing that scares me, we haven't tested this previous 1 hour yet. So I really would like to see price get below that. Just to test it and see if that's going to be a rejection point. But check, this could be the start of that liquidity, right? Look at this candle. So I'd love to see maybe one 5-minute candle close bullish. And then the next one close bearish. And the only reason I want that 5-minute bullish candle is to give me a stop loss. Because here I don't have a stop loss. I do, but it's ridiculous. Hi, do you know Sidhu Moosewala, Indian singer? Yes, I know him. My best friend. Yesterday we were having dinner, me and him. He's already dead? When did he die? 4 years ago? Oh shit. Well, rest in peace, man. How old was he? Yesterday I took 9:30 trade on gold. I got stopped out. You see any problems? 9:30 what time zone, bro? My time zone? Got shot. Oh, that's a shame. Did they catch the guys? He was a gangster himself? Yeah, it's normally how that works. EST NYSE Open. News, man. Used news that time. Speeches. And on top of that, I didn't see any setup. Alright, so we're approaching to this zone. Lot of volume here, man. No top wick on this candle. Only one small 1 minute structure. So here we about to test the 15 and then next the 1 hour. Very interested to see how we react off this. Do we just push through or do we actually have a reaction? See gold. See what's happening with gold at the same time. Yeah, it's starting to retrace here. Oof, this could be a nice liquidity grab, but the problem, the 15 would close bearish, so we don't have any change of structure. Lower high, lower high, lower high. I mean, it would be a cowboy. This would be a cowboy move to take a buy right here. You'd really have to trust bias. 30-minute close in 18. Damn. I love danger. Let me buy gold. They caught the guy, now he operates from prison, recently killed. Wow. What is DAX doing, man? DAX is, look at this liquidity grab and dump. We really want to see the 5-minute close above. The next one close bullish as soon as I say that. I think this might be a lead drop here. Nothing we can do with a lead drop. Yeah, this is a lead drop. Let's see what gold is done. What if gold can flip here in the last couple of minutes? Stop loss massive, even if it flips, it is pretty big. We just need some sort of change of structure. Yeah, you're correct, Sil. I mean, what would be perfect is if we have the 15 close above plus the 30. Think about it like that. That would be the 30 closing bullish, 15 close bullish, 5-minute would start to break structure there. That would be great. Harry, that happiness of predicting the market is on another level, like 95% are correct of a move. Yeah, I mean, my analysis is pretty accurate, but sometimes you have to have a way to enter that analysis because random ways of entry can sometimes eat you up. Now, in the beginning, I used to get extremely frustrated because I used to, my analysis used to be correct, but my entries used to be wrong. So even though my analysis played out during the day, I used to still lose trades. Could you imagine? So that became a lot worse, and that's why I had to develop a strategy to make sure it works. Hi, what gives you a high in the market and keeps you in this game? I don't get a high from the market. It's just a job at this point. It's just a job that has constant stress every single day, and I enjoy the challenge. Sounds like a marriage. Make sure you're not on speaker, mate. Otherwise you will have stress after this. This is a nice liquidity grab, man. If gold wants to do something with this liquidity grab, it would be nice. Let's see in 15 minutes here. 15-minute close, also the 30-minute close. I quite like that. Gold is ready to launch. Check DAX. Yeah, I don't think DAX has moved down here. Nice to see how that liquidity grab idea was correct. But I don't see any way to enter that personally. Unless impulsively just take a random break of low and put a stop loss random as well. Even 1 minute strategy. I do have a 1 minute strategy. I do have a 1 minute strategy, but I don't see even 1 minute pullbacks on that. Where's Mirko? He needs to concentrate now. Let's come to his zone. To concentrate, what zone we've just come back to. Mirko plays working. No, he says his technique is the second one. Not to just buy right at the zone. My broker does not offer German 40 on their futures platform. Would it be a reasonable strategy to trade euro as a substitute given their correlation? I mean, you just trade it separately. It's not, you know. You just trade it separately. Need to beat my wife every Monday and Wednesday. Oh man, shouldn't be writing that. I'm joking. He's on futures, Tony. It's fascinating how that line gets hit so often. It's fascinating the reactions from it. I wonder if it's... But I mean, this technically missed it by 0.1 point. FDAX 1. Yeah, I don't think all offer it. I'll buy gold personally. I'm looking for a buy, but it just seems to be trickling down. So that's why I'm not early to take a buy. If this 15 can flip in 10 minutes, I'm excited. I'm excited 10 minutes if 15 can flip. One to 3 hour, but this but this doesn't count because you said you go second retest, not just the first test, and it actually technically didn't test it because if you had the only way you enter is a limit order there, and it wouldn't have triggered your limit order. So you need to see how to standardize that entry, because let's say you put a limit right at the line, right? You wouldn't put it ahead of the line. Maybe you have to, so you have to try standardize that because technically it wouldn't have. This happened super fast. Did you see it live? You literally had to super fast, man. Otherwise you're here. That's your entry up there. So if you can standardize an entry technique, it's valid, very valid. As a zone, it's great. Yeah, interesting move here. I wonder what DAX wants to do after this. Does it want to try some more downside? See where we've ended up on the daily. Haven't flipped the daily. We came close to flipping the daily. 4 hour hasn't touched support yet. 1 hour time frame has come to this 1 hour support here as well. So this is a 1 hour support here as well. So it would have triggered me, but what's your entry technique, right? Remember, you sometimes were trying to experiment about the second retest. Is it just immediately when it touches the line? Sometimes it dips below the line a couple of points. So do you wait for it to dip below, then get above? So that's what I mean. Standardize that and then backtest what you standardize and see how it performs. that would be best. So you'd have to backtest both scenarios. The zone works, but you know the problem is when we take an entry, we need a stop. Unless you just go full YOLO, no SL, which I don't really like. Cheers, man. Take care. No, that's boring of gold, man. That was looking so juicy with the second liquidity grab. Oh, I was actually really looking forward to that buy. Do I want to counter trend is the question now. Looking for S4 and DAX. S4 will be all the way up here, man. Too late. You'd look for an S5 better. You lose in counter trend? Yes, I do. On the 15, well, normally S4 is a breakout, break back in, so it would be a breakout of this range, break back into that range. It says you can't consider previous ranges, and technically it is not really, because we're respecting this one here. It's not like you want a proper range. Normally when we get this, it's very tough, because you either have to call a bottom or call a lower high. Now the second question is counter trend on DAX, on gold or not. That is the question, mate. Why is GJ so dead? Yeah, it's just like, you know, you need to just call it, you know. Just call it for GJ. It's like, imagine you only traded GJ. Ouch. Pretty painful. Bro, retail trader loves setup 4, bro. Loves it. This was during speeches though, man. Why would you take this during speeches? You'll break even on this position, man. Once it gets up to here, 70%. Entering on the first one could be tough without. But if no news, after the push we had yesterday, no, bro. It's too late. It's like, you know, we had such a big push of 450 pips. How much? 500 pips? And normally in the ranges, it's just like, if there was no push, if there was like a 100 pip push yesterday, yeah, it's fine. 100 pip push, no range, then it's fine. I mean, no news, then it's fine. But the problem is the push we had, like that makes a massive difference. But that's kind of like that, and the news is the only failing factors. Everything else is okay. Like as a setup, it's valid as the formation of the setup, and the idea you have is correct. But these tend to fail like after such a big push. Do I counter trend, counter bias gold on this close? 40 pips is a lot. Okay, we're rejecting it now. What happened to DEX? Let's see, man. Who start this machine here, bro? With the big push on gold, would you count that as average session push for this week? No chance, man. No, it's not really like that. That's an outlier day. Like, average session push, by the way, is calculated from not the whole move. It's calculated from the setup from one point to another point. It's the setup. It's not the move. How crazy is it to wick fill this? Stuck in Excel sheets the whole day? Ouch. GJ needs to be replaced by another Forex pair, something we can actually trade. Yeah, if you would like to add it, for me, I'm happy with my gold and DAX. The returns on gold and DAX is very high. GU is pretty slow. EU is fine. Works. And then for London session, you're pretty slow. Perhaps you've answered this, but how do you go about finding a possible pair to trade? You just look at volume. Like, you want something that moves with volume. There's classics like EU, GU, they're classic pairs. You can trade them, but they're not, like, there's better opportunity to just, like, you don't need multiple pairs. Oh, GJ is waking up. You don't need multiple pairs. Like, you could just get away with one pair even, you know? 1 to 2 pairs is enough. But you want something with volume. That's what's important. I wonder if it's valid to sell below here. Yeah, I mean, you just look at something that has good volume and good pushes during the time you trade. But honestly, it's not like you have to go discover something. They're pretty well known. Like in New York, best volume is going to be on all indices, US 30, NASDAQ, S&P, and gold. Like, that's the key ones for New York, right? I would say this year, Forex is not moving as much because there's less fundamental reasons on Forex. More, especially Trump. Trump is more impactful on the stock market than the currency market. $23 seconds for this candle to close. $35 is pretty steep though. But it would close below here. Damn, what a weird close. I mean, it's kind of a gap on my bro. I need to zoom in. No top wick anyways, but I need to see how that looks. If the candles were, because it gapped down on my broker, now it has a top wick. For me, it's at. If I use my mouse, it's at. It's at for me. Like if I use my mouse, but if I look at it visually, it's below. It's not clear. Definitely not clear. And when it's not clear like that, I have to play it safe. And I don't like the stop here. I don't think, 34 points is quite a lot to ask. We're asking for to push through all of this shit. It's a lot to ask. But what if it made a big top wick and we run stop above current top wick? Very slightly below and happy for me. Is that what? So you're happy to take that, you saying? Oh, Gbpjpy. Okay. Look, I will consider if it does make a top wick somewhere up here, back into 40s. 70, 40, something like that. And then it flips. I'll put stop loss above the current candle. Will be around a 20 point stop loss. First target here is 15 points. And then aggressive break even at the 1 minute support, which is here. Something like that. So let's see. Needs to happen fast though. I want to see it retest pretty soon. And then the next 2 minutes here. So in the next 40 seconds, I want to see it make a retest. And then the next 2 minutes, I want to see it move down. So yeah, that's looking good now. So I want to start to see it flip. If it starts to flip here and then break the lows, I'll probably might be interested in a sell here. So I'm just going to have it set up. We don't know exactly how much stop loss, but for now I'm accounting for about 20 points. Because if it closes back in the range, it can actually start to see the buy opportunity come through. You know, it's very possible that we start to reverse from here. 15-minute closes bullish again, you know, in the next 5 minutes. And then we start to just range. And that's the session done. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen soon. The low I would take the entry is the break of this low here. But now it's not doing what I wanted it. So it was good to wait patiently. But unless something changes in the last 30 seconds and we can start to flip, it's not looking. But my entry would be on the break of this low here, but I'm seeing bullish pressure for now, so you know, I'm not too hopeful for it, but I'm still ready, you know, I'm still ready. Quickly see. It's not giving me an entry yet. That's a shame. That was a trade there potentially, but it's actually not a shame because it's protecting us from a loss there. 15 minutes not a concern. I'm trying to do a wick fill, but it is generally a concern, yeah. But without the wick, it's a big problem without the wick. Hasn't already tapped TPs. Depends where it wanted to stop today. Technically, it's tapped multiple TPs, right? Technically, we've tapped this 1 hour, this 1 hour, this 1 hour, but maybe it wants to stop at this 1 hour. Maybe it wants to all the way come down here. We don't know, right? It could drive as far as it wants to drive. I would say max TP is always your higher time frame zone, which is going to be the 4 hour support. So technically, nope, we have not reached the 4 hour support yet. If we are at 4 hour support, different question. Very different question. Gold counter buyers sells. Yes or no, Harry? Yes or no? Yes. Alberto says yes. Gold has already done counter bias move. Yeah, it does seem like that. Yeah, I don't think we need to force. I don't think we need to force. Yeah, the 4 hour looks great. The 4 hour does look great, but we could also fill that in New York. It's a tough one, you know. It's like, do we fill it now or do we fill it later is the question. Look at this new widget, huh? You see this widget? You can see the daily. How did I get that? Oh, there we go. I'm still seeing DAX buys above. a lot of ranges. You buy straight into this 15-minute rejection zone. You know, we have not changed structure all morning. But we have not changed structure all morning on DAX. Like 15 minutes is still heavy bearish trend. Why wouldn't it just do this? Or just fake out? If this was coming from 4-hour support, maybe I can argue that with you, because we've tapped main target for the day, right? Alright guys, I'm gonna hop off here. Unfortunately, it did not trigger my sell stop for my trade here. I'm sorry guys about no trades today, but we did give it a shot on Monday here. And then yesterday we had a lot of news, so let's see. It is NFP week. Normally NFP weeks can be slower, so don't come with last month's mindset into this month. You need to just treat it like you had a banger last month. It was an amazing month, and you need to just continue trading as normal. And that's what I'm doing. I took options. First day of the month I took a trade. Actually, it was the last day of last month I took a trade. And I'm just waiting to see a nice option here. I did see this as an opportunity. I was ready to take it, but unfortunately it did not break the lows. So the only way I can enter this again is if again something closes below here, but this may happen after stream. I don't think in 1 minute it would close below, and if it does close below in 1 minute, I don't trust the straight push. Actually wait, it's a 15 close as well. Okay, maybe now I'm starting to see something. If we get a good top wick after that, could actually work. Actually, let's just see. 50 seconds is worth. 50 seconds worth. Now all the people are gonna drop off stream and they're gonna miss the trade. This might be what we need. We need the people to drop off, and now I can secretly take the stream. Let's see. If it doesn't close, I'm 30 seconds, I'll wait. If it doesn't close below, it's done. But I need a good top wick because it's a straight 1 minute push. I don't want to just get stuck in a 1 minute range. Every time we push down, we've pulled back up. Push down, that would trigger me, and then pull back up, you're stopped out. Not really the drama I would like to have, to be honest. Stop loss around 27, yeah, much better. Yep, not closing below for now. Last 2 seconds and close above. So yeah, just, you know, not giving me an entry, but we're waiting, we're staying patient, following the plan, and that's my job. That is literally my job, and that's what I get paid for. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna leave it. So appreciate you all. Have an amazing rest of your day. Look at gold starting to reject. Remember, the buys above here on gold are very juicy. I do like these buys here above this previous resistance here, especially with the 1 hour no top wick. Just might come a little bit later, but instead of watching paint dry, we just can put alerts and then we see how that is. So I really do appreciate all of you showing up. Continue to show up. Have an amazing rest of your day, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon. All right, much love and peace. See you guys. Take care of yourself.